What is dangerous is when you do not know where that information has come from, has it been validated, is it scientifically factual?
Go back on Closer Look with Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief. I'm Scott Sexsmith. Derek Turner is here as always. Sid Sixero on the show earlier this week had a chance to catch his new show. It's pretty good.
Oh, is it? Yeah, I've
you know what? It's classic Sid. It's like he didn't skip a beat.
I meant to ask him because I can imagine for the last few months he's just been practicing talking to himself all the time and writing down notes about what you're going to rant about, right?
I picture him walking around his kitchen, ranting at his wife, trying things out.
You do some dry runs, right, to make sure you're good to go. He sounded like his old self.
It was crazy, man. It was like he hadn't been gone.
I'm willing to bet that he already has more YouTube followers than us. Am I right?
Well, anything is possible. But here's how we can boost our numbers. You know, we're so lucky here. We're surrounded by all these young kids that are so smart and good at what they do.
Yes.
And I'm comfortable saying young kids because they're half our age.
Because you're old.
And I am old. And they build this tech. So now when you click on one of our nightly podcasts, there's it's called a widget. So I'm told.
Thank you, tech god.
Be sure to follow me for more tech advice. There's a widget right in the middle of the story. You just type in your email, click submit, boom, you'll get subscribed to Closer Look.
And you don't have to leave the page. You can keep reading.
Yeah, it's unbelievably simple.
And to be clear, the subscription's for our email nightly newsletter. It's free. There's not a single dime you have to pay to get it. It'll land in your inbox every night at 8 p.m., I believe.
8 p.m. sharp.
And then there's my favorite part, the Saturday morning rewind, which gives you reminds you all the 5 episodes you might have missed that week.
That's my favorite because then I send it to our boss and I'm like, look at all the stuff we did this week.
Yeah. Does he ever reply?
No.
I didn't think
he does not. Okay. Speaking of tech, do you believe that people are using AI to get medical advice?
100%. I'm surprised not everybody. It sounds like everybody's using AI.
You know,
I'm way behind the train.
Okay, truth be told, and tell me you've done this because I'm sure we've all every time we're not feeling well, type it into Google.
Yes,
right?
Yes.
And sadly, each time I'm dying is what I discover. But yet, hey, I've defied the odds. I'm still here.
You're still here,
people are using AI.
Yeah, and we talked about this, I believe, on the show last year.
We did.
The president of the Canadian Medical Association at the time came on the show to talk about how the rise of medical misinformation, people are they're depending more and more on the internet for their medical info, and it's leading to more harms. Mm-hmm. This year, the Canadian Medical Association did another survey. And with the advent of AI just in this last year is so much different than it was when we spoke to them last year, right? And basically they've concluded that more and more Canadians are turning to AI for health information, and it's having negative effects. So we're going to speak about that tonight with the president of the Canadian Medical Association.
For years, Canadians have been warned not to Google their symptoms. Now many are asking AI instead, and according to new data, that may be even riskier. A new survey from the Canadian Medical Association shows Canadians who followed health advice from AI were 5 times more likely to experience harm than those who didn't. And yet nearly half of Canadians are using AI tools to diagnose or treat health issues, often because getting timely care from a real doctor feels out of reach. So what happens when the convenience of a few keystrokes collides with misinformation? And who's responsible when AI health advice goes wrong? Joining us tonight to talk about it is Dr. Margot Burnell, president of the Canadian Medical Association. Doctor, welcome to Closer Look. We appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
Doctor, can you start by telling us about the survey itself? I believe this is something the CMA does every year. What are you asking people?
The CMA has partnered with Abacus over the past 3 years to track how citizens across Canada, what they've seen with respect to information, misinformation, and false information, and why they are accessing these platforms for that information.
5 times more likely to experience harm is an alarming number, to say the least. What kind of harms are we talking about, and how serious are they?
The harms that we're referring to are delay in the appropriate diagnosis, delay in treatment, or testing or trying the treatments recommended on AI. And depending upon the seriousness of the illness and the recommendation, the level of harm that occurs.
Well, you're seeing over the years, doctor, this getting worse. Like first people using, traditional internet to search and now AI, but are more and more people turning to the computer to find their health needs?
More people are turning to the computer. As we have decreased access to primary care providers, family doctors, nurse practitioners, they want the ease and convenience of seeking that information in a very timely fashion.
I guess the question is, how do you even begin to turn that corner, doctor? Because that is the problem. People just don't have access to primary care. How do we begin to fix that?
So I think there are two components to fixing it. One is to increase access to care. So to build team-based care, to expand that so that physicians can work to their full scope and have other healthcare providers help them. And the second is for physicians and the healthcare sector to put reliable information out on those platforms. And so CMA has tried to do that with Healthcare for Real, and we have a media network also trying to put that information. So a two-pronged approach at least.
Doctor, were you surprised by just how many Canadians are already using AI to diagnose or treat themselves, even though most say they don't fully trust it?
So I wasn't surprised that they were trying it. What I was surprised at is that only about a quarter of them trust it, but over 50% of them use it. So that was where the disconnect was for me.
Yep. Have you tried it, doctor, just for argument's sake? Have you got on AI to try to see what they say?
Looked at Google and those types of platforms. I've not personally tried putting a symptom into ChatGPT, for example.
Yeah, that's good to know. See, the doctor's not doing it. That's why I'm not doing it. That's
right.
That's good advice.
Darn right.
What's been the reaction to the survey, doctor? When you hear from Canadians or people who are reading about this today, what has the reaction been?
So we've had a lot of interest in this, and I think the fact that we had 250 in the room at the Empire Club hosted event in Ottawa and 800 to 900 online really shows that there's interest in this topic. I think that journalism and you folks are very interested in this and being part of that solution. So trying to get good information out to the public really will take a whole team, a whole community.
What's the worst case scenario for you, doctor? Like the horror story, like that. What's the worst possibility when you think about people using AI to self-diagnose?
Worst possibility is they obtain the wrong diagnosis and the wrong treatment. And so that delays them getting the correct diagnosis and proper treatment. So physicians have number one, patient safety as their major concern.
How much do the platforms have responsibility for this, doctor? Like, whether it's Gemini or the other ChatGPT, OpenAI, how much are they responsible for what's getting out there?
So the survey shows that those people surveyed felt that the vendors had a large responsibility in controlling what is put out in AI, and the second group was government.
Yeah.
Doctor, for someone watching or listening to this podcast right now who's already using AI for health questions or even Googling symptoms, what's your advice? What's safe and what crosses a line?
What is safe is when it comes from a reputable site, Health Canada, Public Health Agency, guidelines from specialty organizations within Canada that can be verified by looking at a different source. What is dangerous is when you do not know where that information has come from, has it been validated, is it scientifically factual? So we need to create that digital literacy.
On a different note, doctor, obviously the health professionals are using AI to their benefit. We've heard of different things that are going on. In what ways is it being used in a proper way that the CMA is all for?
So AI with respect to auto-scribe is one of the low-hanging fruits that will allow physicians to spend more time with their patients. Those notes and interactions still need to be reviewed to ensure that they're accurate and no hallucinations. But those that have invested in that package are deriving the benefits of it.
Sure. We touched on this a little bit already. But the key here is that I think a lot of people are turning to AI because they don't have access to primary care. What do we need to do in this country? It's an ongoing discussion we have all the time, doctor. But how do we get more patients in front of primary care providers?
We need more primary care providers, family doctors, nurse practitioners. So we need to train more physicians. We need to recruit more physicians. And most importantly, we need to retain them in the system.
And then that's the challenge, though, right? And that comes down to funding, to resources. We're seeing less and less of that. Is it just a matter of governments need to spend more?
Part of it is spending more money, but part of it is decreasing barriers for those physicians, for example, who are internationally trained and are qualified to enter the system. Also, reducing administrative burden for physicians doesn't cost a lot of money. It takes effort to come up with those solutions. Decreasing admin burden, which is the number one pain factor for physicians with respect to their wellness, can be dealt with in a fairly timely fashion with not a lot of expense.
It's interesting, though. We've heard that for a long time, those last two things, right? The administrative burden on physicians and opening the doors for internationally trained physicians to get up to speed. I feel like we've been talking about this for a long time, Doctor. Why is no one listening, or why isn't more being done when everyone knows those are the two big issues?
So with respect to the internationally trained physicians, we are making movement forward and recently supported the minister with respect to the express entry program, an increase in the provincial nominee numbers. So that's a step in the right direction. With respect to administrative burden, CMA has advocated and been successful in encouraging provinces to enact legislation to decrease sick notes for short-term illnesses. So it's a steady, slow process, but there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Well, that's good to hear. And I'm not suggesting that you or your organization is not trying hard to deal with these problems. You clearly are. Can I ask your thoughts on hospital funding while I have you on the call, Doctor? Obviously, we're in Ontario. There's a budget process underway, and the Ontario Hospital Association's expressed concern about hospital funding. The frontline healthcare unions have expressed concern. How worried are you about upcoming cuts to Ontario hospitals?
Not involved in that process. I would refer you to the Ontario Medical Association, but I think that generally the frontline providers need to have a forum to have discussions about concerns that they may have.
Doctor, anything else about the survey before we let you go that you wanted to comment on?
I'm pleased that people have tuned in to see the results, hear about the results. They've heard some suggestions at the micro and macro level, and I hope they move forward with those.
All right, Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you. There's Dr. Margot Burnell, the president of the Canadian Medical Association. Doctor, thank you. We appreciate your time tonight.
Okay, thank you.
We talked about this off the top, Googling symptoms, and it's because it's right there. It's so easy, right? And within seconds, rightly or wrongly, you're given information.
Yeah, and then we Google everything. We use the internet for every detail in our life. I think the key is, and maybe I take it for granted because as a journalist, we're always looking to confirm facts and try to understand. We're researching an article we're working on or an issue. So you dig in and you do tons of Googling. And one source might lead you to another source, lead you to another source.
Rabbit hole.
But what you have to understand is what's legit and what's not. The doctor's right. If you're reading something from the Public Health Agency of Canada or from a medical journal, you know it's legit. Otherwise, you don't really know. If maybe it's the Mayo Clinic or Public Health Ontario, you know it's legit. But otherwise, you can really be deceived on what you read. And then you start using Gemini to look it up. The bottom line is you need to be triple checking your facts. You can use the internet to research your health issues, but you need to make sure you're looking at proper information.
Yeah, I mean, here's a novel idea. If we had enough doctors,
yes, yeah, and this is the thing, right? And I wasn't trying to put blame on Dr. Burnell.
No, it's
but
fair question.
These issues of like the doctors have too much administrative burden, that we would need to do better at recognizing international credentials.
Yes.
We've been talking about that for 20 years.
Absolutely.
I mean, that's been going on forever.
Yeah. So we've nailed the talking part.
Yeah. And I don't doubt that she's probably right that we've done a better job at some of those things, right? And I think AI, in terms of like administrative, you go to your doctor, they have their recorder on, just like we do for journalism.
Absolutely.
And it's instantly transcribed. I think of all the years of my life I wasted listening to tapes when I was younger.
Work smarter, not harder,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. So, but then, as she said, you still have to go back and someone's got to double check and make sure there's not some wild and crazy things that came out of that transcript or how AI looks at it.
It's like you double checking my work.
You need to double check it. But this is the world we live in today. I'm going to rant a little bit, but
That's all right.
even when you see something that you think is real,
It may not be.
now you're like, okay, wait a minute, is that true? Is that real?
Is it really the Mayo Clinic?
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Or is it the mayonnaise clinic? Right. You never know. But my point is, you can't even believe a photo you see on the internet.
You cannot.
You know, there's been tons, especially with the Epstein files. There's been tons of fake photos now floating around.
Yes.
And this is the world we live in. It's at such a rapid pace. I don't know. Is anything going to be true? There's your thought for the day. Will anything be true at some point? Are we true? Are you true?
Here's what is true. Closerlookpodcast.ca. The picture of you and I, it is real.
It is real. That's
legit.
Why it looks so bad.
See? A picture is worth 1,000 words.
Right. That's correct.
Let's leave it at that. While you're there, check it out. You can check out back episodes and sign up, and we'll send you fresh episodes every night at 8 o'clock. Closerlookpodcast.ca. Flip us a note. We'd love to hear from you. Closerlook@villagemedia.ca is our email address. Derek Turner, producer of this evening's program. As always, for Michael Friscolanti, our editor-in-chief, I'm Scott Sexsmith. Thanks for joining us this evening. We'll do it again tomorrow night at 7, as always, right here on Closer Look.
Frisco and Scott's Wardrobe provided in part by Moores, Sault Ste. Marie.